You're watching The Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy actual play channel telling stories set in an original non-colonial, anti-orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only aftershow, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching our show, and enjoy. Content warnings for this episode include fantasy violence, blood, gore, body horror, monsters and monstrosity, heights, and falling. Arc 2, Episode 28. Its Spirit Shown. From Carved Inside an Empty Urn by Connie Chong. The three demons appear exactly the same as they did when you fought them mere days ago in this very courtyard. Xiaocheng is tall, broad, muscular, with emerald green skin and a shaggy black beard that rests beneath a necklace of skulls. The monk spade across his back glistens with malice, and a new scar, thickens the muscles of his neck, a bite-shaped wound with sharp puncture wounds from malformed lion tusks. Tang cocks Ta the head skyward, slitted pupils latching onto each of you. Their 9 fox-like tails quiver and seethe behind them, the same dirty red shade as their short, unkempt hair. Just like last time, Ta wears a flowing martial shirt tucked into a pair of trousers, imbued with a sense of vulpine grace and violence. And finally, in the center of the trio, we see Bai Guting. She is beautiful. She is terrible. Her bone-white skin contrasts with her ink-black hair, a living, translucent shawl levitating around her arms. Ta twirls that round black fan between one of Ta's fingers, exposing either side of a silk-printed, pure white skull. Yes, these demons look exactly like they did last time, but also poignantly different. There is an emotion on each of their faces. A new thirst, a new desire, a hunger for revenge against you. Xiaocheng squares his shoulders against Seir. Tang's tails flick in Xainan's direction, and Bai Guting rests her pellucid gaze on Lumièra. And in a single fluid motion, as though they were 3 parts of one whole instead of disparate actors working together, these demons vault into the sky and land on the rooftop next to Shrixiang. And the Forge Master heaves her mighty hammer over one scarred shoulder, and as the mist thickens, she cracks her neck in either direction and then says, "Go." And the demons attack. So it's time to dive into action. So when your crew dives into action against a violent foe, or multiple foes in this case, describe how you ready yourselves in the face of chaos and roll 2d6 plus tags. So I want to zoom in on Xainan first.
Xainan has been holding his bow as he's been leaping from rooftop to rooftop. And I think with Naeem's help, that sense of weightlessness kind of making him feel more and more strangely grounded. The impact is less hard. His inner ear finally settling as he finds his footing and his eyes sharpen again. That bright, burning orange eye matching the brightness of his green eye. And I would like to use Deadeye.
Okay.
The birdsong bow. And Survivalist. And Sentinel against the ending.
That's a +4, so roll for it. We're going to pan across the courtyard to find Lumièra on Seir's back.
I think Lumièra's watching everything around her, and when she sees that specific demon make eye contact with her, and she sees the Queen of the Underworld roll and crack her neck as if she's getting ready to hand me my ass, but I am Lumièra. She knows nothing of what I can do. So when she sees that, she smirks and crawls down off of Seir before rolling her shoulders back and cracking her neck from side to side as well. And she adopts a stance that is essentially, come and get me.
I love that.
and she preps for any and everything. I think she's working all off of instinct now, and her instinct now is not the calling that fate knows it. It's the calling that she knows. It's most effective.
Excellent. Yeah. Before you do your power tags, a quick above the table retake. So Bai Guizing is not the Queen of the Underworld. So if you could just re-say as you see Bai Guizing.
I thought that she was the one that did the neck roll. Okay, no, my bad. Well,
no, actually, technically, it was. I don't want to get pedantic about this. Technically, it was Shriziang who cracked her neck. Bai Guizing just kind of looked at you like.
My bad.
You know, kind of like a yeah.
Okay, I still do it, but I make eye contact with that demon instead and crack my neck over to the side and adopt that stance. Come get me.
Excellent. Which power tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to use Forbidden Knowledge, Love is Power, Control of Time, Threading the Journey, Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time. I will invoke Fatigued. I will invoke Doesn't Understand Its Power. And Disrupts the Journey, too.
Okay, so that's a net +3 for you. We're going to pan over now to Seir.
Seir helps Lumièra get off his back by lowering his shoulder down. And as he emerges and looks up at the main target of his bloodlust, Xainan, his eyes flit over to the monk spade wielding demon, and he growls gutturally in his chest. I knew I should have finished you off the first time. I will invoke the following tags: How to Hunt, Bulwark, Precise Counterattack, Weave Omens, Hungry Form, Powerful Against Gods, Monstrous Countenance, and a Devourer's Edge.
Okay, I'm going to invoke Weak to Gods, Scares People, and Just a Weapon. So that's a net +5 for you. Okay, let's start from Xainan. What did you get?
9.
Got a 9? Okay, Xainan, 9. What about Lumièra?
Someday I will roll.
Hey, Connie, what can you do with a 10?
A 10? That's great. This is just the initiative order, y'all. So this is lovely. So it decides who goes first, but the 10 is excellent. What about Seir?
Seir rolled a 14 total.
I'm sorry, you cut out for me. I'm so sorry. What was that?
Valiant!
Val!
I rolled a 14. 9 on the die and +5, 14.
Okay, so Seir, you will be the first to act with your 14 as that guttural growl rips out of your throat. What do you do?
I am jumping on that demon, and I'm going to finish what I fucking started and bite its neck, their neck again. And
okay,
and they're right next to Xainan. They're right next to Xainan,
yeah.
which is perfect for me. So I get a 2-in-1 bonus deal there.
Okay, so that's Unleash Violence. Yep. So what power tags would you like to invoke?
Let's see. Which ones do I want to? How to Hunt.
Okay.
How to Hunt. Bulwark. Weave Omens. Hungry Form. Powerful Against Gods. Monstrous Countenance. And Devourer's Edge.
Okay, I'm gonna invoke Scares People, Weak to Gods, Just a Weapon, and Ravenous. So that's gonna be a +3.
Oh, the Ravenous is not coming in quite yet. That's
Oh!
the,
Oh, you're right. You prepped something that I didn't realize was off the table right now. So let's audience wipe your memory. Let's pretend you didn't hear that. So I'm gonna invoke. So how many is that total? 6?
7.
For you, 7. Okay, I'm gonna invoke Weak to Gods, Scares People, Just a Weapon, and Bleeding 3. So that's a +1 net for you.
Okay, that's fine. That's a 7.
Okay, that's a mixed success. So you exchange blows on a 7. You rampage across the rooftops, basically like in full bestial form. That roar tearing from your throat toward Xiaocheng, and you leap across the gap, separating these 3 different buildings, and you barrel into this demon holding this monk spade. He steadies himself, sees you coming, and turns the spade around so the crescent side is facing you and catches you against the throat to kind of prevent you from like a rabid wolf onto his neck. And he's holding you at bay with this pole arm, but I think your claws scythed out, including the hand holding patience. You kind of get him on the arm if you would like. So how does this violence flare out of you?
I'd like to think that the wound sickle, like that's on the moon spade, like pierces right on either end of the shoulder, like holding Seir taut, and he whips. He whips around Patience and holds down onto the elbow of Bai Gujing. No, this is Xiaolang. And presses down onto the arm as if, and they're at this kind of impasse of who's going to relent first, as both of these blades are cutting each of our skins. And he's just growling in their face.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're growling, and you could feel like blood starting to weep out of the 2 sharp points digging into your collarbone. And I need you to advance bleeding by 1 more pip. Would you like to burn a tag to reduce it? That would bring it up to bleeding 4. Okay, which tag are you burning?
I will burn precise counterattack. He's not being precise right now.
Yeah, you're being like, right now. Absolutely. God. And he's kind of holding you at bay. And you see just a flash of fear in his eyes for a second before he blinks and growls against his black beard and kind of holds you in a stalemate here, right? Away from Shijiang, who seems completely unconcerned. The Forge Master regards you with some disinterest, but similar to that blank expression she'd given Xainan back in the White Forge, there's an emotion now bubbling underneath it. Rage and impatience. And you say you're so close. I don't know if you register this because you're consumed by bloodlust at this moment, but Shijiang's eyes hook onto Xiaocheng, and the Forge Master says, in a voice to the other demons, "The gourd, now." And we see the other demons turn and pivot and start to triangulate toward the gourd. And now we're gonna cut over to Lumièra.
Lumièra sees everyone making their way towards Xiaocheng and the gourd. No. So Lumièra will dig her heel deep into the ground, settling herself in a stance. I'm going to keep them from that gourd and Xiaocheng as best as I can. I'm going to attempt to create a liminal to move Xiaocheng from where they are at and poof them over into another section of the battlefield with the gourd.
Oh, just kind of like them away from this rooftop, like as far away from the demons as possible? Yeah. Okay. You're gonna have to channel your power to do that.
Absolutely.
What tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to use Love is Power, Chronergy. I will invoke Fatigued. I'm going to use Control of Time, as well as Threading the Journey. I will use Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time, and Powerful Presence as well.
Okay. That's a 7. You're invoking Fatigued. I'm going to invoke Doesn't Understand This Power as well. Disrupts the Journey. And I'm also going to invoke Haunted 1, Marked for Death 2. So that's a net 1.
Okay. What can you do with another 10, Connie?
Okay, so that's excellent. That means the effect is exactly as intended. There's a moment of clockwork gears spinning around Xiaocheng, and then we kind of just see them lift up off of the tiles, and they across the courtyard. Where are you trying to fling them?
I am putting them over closer towards where okay, so where is Seir and Xainan and like Phoenix on the battlefield at this point?
Phoenix is not here. Phoenix is still back at the
yet?
Hall of Peerless
Okay,
Death.
so
they're
it's
not
just-
coming here. They're helping the symbols in the Hall of Peerless Death.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's just Nova here.
So-
yeah, Seir is on the roof with Striziang and the 3 demons, and Xainan is on the opposite roof across the courtyard from you.
Then Xiaocheng goes back behind me.
Okay, you're just like a shield. You swing Xiaocheng behind you to the other end of this rooftop that you're standing on. So they're on like the far side away from Shijiang from you. Okay, yeah. And there's also like a time shield around them, basically. And from everyone else's perspective, Xiaocheng goes, Lumièra, what? And then they freeze as they're stuck inside this bubble and they swing behind you. And you can feel power humming through you, just vibrating and pulsating throughout your soul because you got a 10 plus. Lumièra, you feel the same energy toll that had taken all those years from your life, had dipped your left hand in gold, starting to wreak its way through your body again as you use time magic for the second time in like less than an hour here to great effect. And you see the gold starting to creep up your left forearm, but because of the 10, you hear a glitching noise off to the side, on the periphery of your perception, on the periphery of your reality. And then you see them. The Drifter. They're not on a roof. They're floating, levitating, you think, in midair, staticking in and out of existence. You blink and they're there, you blink and they're not there, but you can hear the glitching noise of the angel, the Drifter, that's always followed you. And you hear their voice, and you feel almost like a glitching sensation around your left arm as the creeping of the gold stops. As the Drifter holds out like a shadowy, glitching arm, and you feel almost like a connection leaping across reality between you and them as they help you in this moment. And then you hear their voice say, "You can change this. You can change what happened if you keep using this power the right way."
You've never taught me any other way. I can't find any other way. You showed me the liminal. Show me how.
It's not as simple as dropping in and out. What liminal? When did I? And you hear their voice starting to echo and fracture and fragment, and then it comes back in, and the Drifter says, "All power comes from somewhere. Time magic is a relationship. It is a transmutation. You must draw the energy from other sources. You can't keep tithing your own life force to it. Draw it from somewhere else. Blood to wine, time to opportunity. Offload the cost."
It was coming from me. So how am I just supposed to draw it from someplace else?
Do what you've always done, done. And the voice starts to fragment again, and they become even more unstable, like they're unable to remain here for much longer. Be nothing short of excellent. And they glitch out of existence. And on that glitch, we pan across the battlefield to find Xainan.
Xainan is studying the Forge Master. His eyes never leave Ta. And he's trying to figure out if the Emperor was so far away, if her plans have been executed, what does she want now besides hunger and chaos? And he is going to run not directly at her. He's going to take a lateral and follow the edge of the courtyard and go along the rooftop to keep his eye on her.
Okay, it sounds like you're trying to investigate or gaze into the mist. I'll let you choose.
I'm gonna call this. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna call this an investigate.
Okay. So invoke your tags.
Sentinel against the ending.
Excellent.
He's trying to specifically draw on, again, the same logic that draw him to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is also thinking about being Sing's mentor, the way that he knows that she feels about Lu Hua, and trying to follow the logic. So I'm going to also invoke the mentor, and love is what tethers us. Student... Oh, did I say student of those before?
Not yet.
That. Love is what tethers us. The mentor, student of those before.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadeye.
That's 5 tags. I'm going to invoke the Blade of Grief and Broken 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a -1.
Cool. Let's go.
It's our first time doing a negative roll. It's a boss fight, baby!
It. As a treat. You know what, Connie? Eat your -1. Because for the first time in 3 sessions, I've rolled above a 10. That is an 11 minus 1 makes it a 10.
Look at Faye. Look at Faye.
My evil plans have been foiled.
Go.
Okay. Let's go. So on a 10 plus, I will describe an additional crucial detail even a skilled sleuth might miss, in addition to giving you everything. As you start to track Shuijiang parallelly, you see Xiaolang still locked in like a tight, violent embrace with Seir, and you see Bai Gujing and Tang Tang spring off of the roofs and start to head. Tang Tang goes toward you and Naim and Yinghe, and Bai Gujing goes toward where Lumièra is currently holding and maintaining concentration over that liminal for Xiaocheng. And you see Shuijiang start to walk slowly but surely off of the roof as though preparing to leap onto the either onto the courtyard or make that like incredible span of distance from her side to where Xiaocheng is. And her eyes are trained on that gourd. That's the most immediate thing you notice. She wants the gourd. There's something here about the gourd. It's not just about beating Nova to beat Nova. It's about getting the river gourd. And the thing you might miss is there's hunger in her eyes. There is a desire to consume, a desire to eat. Not just that. It goes beyond mere hunger. Something about obtaining the gourd will give Shuijiang the equivalent to apotheosis that a mortal might have to a divinity. You remember what she said about this being the eve of change back in the White Forge. She wasn't just talking about letting the mist run wild across the city of heaven and corrupt people into monsters. She was talking about herself. There is a final transformation Shuijiang would like to make in this moment, and it's directly related to her being able to obtain that gourd. And that mentor hook that you're reading, you're trying to read any sense of protectiveness, any sense of defensiveness, any sense of love that Shuijiang might have for Lu Hua on her face, and you see none. Not none. Maybe it is there, but it is buried, it is deep. It is hidden behind layers and layers and layers of tempered, hardened iron. Perhaps even hidden from herself. That's what you get, Xainan. So, all the PCs have gone. It's time for some shit to go sideways. So, Tang Tang lands on the roof next to Naim, Yinghe, and Xainan, and their tails begin to seethe and whip around them. And I've got some fun things planned for myself. Xainan, roll me a d10.
Okay. D10. Oh, that's not in my tray. 7.
As the tails seethe around them, they wrap around their body, but they're still moving forward as this happens, so they turn into kind of like a bullet of russet brown fur, and then when the fur comes down, you see a massive direwolf in Tang Tang's place, the same kind of dark timber red color as before with like white-tipped ears, and Tang Tang slams into Naim, who throws up their hand and forms a shield, that same barrier that blocked the blow of a god. But Naim is staggered haggard like you, has been broken like you, and the shield shatters after 2 claws down at Naeem. But just before a claw makes contact with more than just Naeem's robe, ripping a deep gouge across his chest, we see Yinghe turn and swing with the crescent blade of violence. And we see it carve across down this demon's flank, and the timber wolf lets go of Naeem and swivels around to face Yinghe as well. And then we see the shadows underneath Tang Tang's body start to roil and seethe as though they were standing on top of an oil field, as we see Yinghe raise their hands, and we see tendrils of shade ribbon up and fix this dire wolf in place as Tang Tang snaps and howls against it. And now we push across the roof to find Bai Guzing landing in front of Lumièra. So we see, just like last time, the translucent shawl transforms into a serrated sword with joints of bone that she whips out, not at Lumièra, but at the liminal, where Xiaocheng is. And we see that pointed, sharp, serrated blade smash into the wall of the liminal, and Lumièra, you feel it as though the blade were cutting into you. And it takes, I think you shudder against it, as she's starting to break your focus, starting to break your concentration over the magic that you're sustaining here. And she smiles a kind of wicked look at you and says, "Ha, it's good to see you again, little time mage," as a taunt.
I would be lying if I said the same. But since you want to play, let's play.
And you steel yourself against her. And then that's when we hear a great kind of cracking noise as Shijiang leans into the roof with such force that the tiles shatter underneath her feet, and then she jumps. She leaps up into the air, arcing through the mist like a pouncing tiger that's found its weakened prey in the depths of a bamboo grove, and then she lands with the same kind of crater next to Xiaocheng, who's still frozen inside the liminal. And we see cracks starting to form on the surface of the liminal from Bai Guzing just whoosh, with that serrated blade over and over and over again against Lumièra's magic. And the final blow comes from Shijiang, who lifts the axe destruction up into one hand and smashes it against this pearl of time magic, and the pearl shatters. Lumièra, it explodes against the force of this god. And I need you to take Wounded 5 as the magic into your brain. Would you like to burn some tags to reduce that?
I would love to burn some tags to attempt to reduce that. Shit.
You're actually doing pretty well burned tags wise. I'm
Burn
looking at
tags
you've got
wise,
no
I'm the
burned
only
tags.
one.
Yeah, you're doing real
I'm the
well.
only one.
Seir has a few, I think.
I'm still worried because
I have
I'm
a
like,
few.
I might need this later. But in relation to what's going on, I think I'm definitely going to burn my Logos tag of Lumièra's Oath.
Okay.
And
which tag under Lumièra's Oath would you like to burn? Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge, Love is Power.
oh,
and
okay. I never burned a tag before, so I thought I was getting rid of the whole thing. I didn't know what specific
No,
aspects
just
of it.
individual ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn Love is Power, as well as the Chronergy book. I think what she uses, she knows well enough to an extent, so she doesn't really have to worry about that. So the Chronergy book and Love is Power, I will burn to knock that down. I don't even have enough space for another tag at this point. Oh God.
You can burn across themes, so it doesn't all have to be off the same theme.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'll burn Calling the Drifter because they've already shown up.
You're min-maxing this. I love that. You're optimizing burning your tags.
Absolutely. And that's how I play. I'm a min-maxer. And then I'll burn Powerful Presence too.
Okay, so that's
that'll
only
be
wounded 1.
Wounded
That would
1.
reduce it to 1. Okay, cool. So put that on your sheet. And you said you were burning the chronology book? Okay. A burn is not a permanent removal, but
Yeah.
that chronology book, which you keep on you all the time, I assume, that tome, right, strapped to your sash, strapped to your robe, as the axe cleaves down and the liminal shatters, you feel something fluttering at the side of your body, and you see your tome has flown open, and pages are shedding from it. Never to be seen again. They just float into the wind. And then you're able to like snap it shut, but a few pages have been ripped out. Gone.
Fuck. And I think you actually do hear an actual growl from Lumièra at that. Just frustrated, angry, very wildly reminiscent of what we've heard from Seir. She is pissed. And now it's everyone's problem.
Yeah, well, we feel and we hear that rage as though magically empowered. Grah! Rip out of you. Then no, your pages, and they flitter off into the wind, devoured by mist. And Xiaocheng, who has been frozen this whole time, lands back down on the roof and says, "Mira, what are you?" And looks up just in time to see the axe come down again against their head, but fast as lightning. Xiaocheng draws the blade at their side, and there's like a ding noise as we see purple wind Zifeng come up and intercept the axe called Destruction. We see an amethyst blade with a purple jade hilt and a purple gem in the pommel, a gift from Longdu to Xiaocheng. And they catch themselves there, though they're thrown back a few feet. They kind of slide across the tiles, like a few dozen boo, as Shijiang comes forward, like slamming the axe down again, as though wielding a hammer against a melting blade. But Shijiang parries. They parry, and at the last swing, they swivel with perfect, elegant grace, and they riposte. They slice the blade forward, and it cuts across Shijiang's torso, the bare exposed flesh and fur of it underneath the apron, and we see bright white blood well in the side begin to like drip down the side of Shijiang's body. And Xiaocheng swivels the sword and kind of slaps it down across the air, and we see that white blood fling itself onto the tiles. Don't underestimate me, Forge Master. I was trained by the Emperor herself.
Don't underestimate us.
You did protect your head. But you forgot something else, didn't you? And Lumièra, you hear a noise as Bai Guqing's whip sword basically retracts, and we see the gourd wrapped around it as this bone demon holds it in her hand with a vicious grin. And now we're gonna go back up to the top of the initiative order.
I'm so
why don't we?
tired. I don't want to be here anymore.
So let's have you all leap into action once more. So roll me your 2d6 and invoke the tags you want to invoke for this initiative roll. We can like kind of expedite this here.
Can we invoke a crew tag?
You sure can,
You
but
go
that
ahead.
will burn it.
Don't do it for this. Don't do it for this.
Don't do
do
this.
it. Do it on your turn. Do it on your turn.
See,
Okay.
Kai, that's why you're pop. Let's see. Okay.
All right, let's start with Xainan. So what tags would you like to invoke?
Sentinel against the ending. He is now back. We have Agent Xainan Esh, who has remembered his duty.
Cool.
Survivalist. This is the answer to surviving the situation, to getting the mission done. Student of those before, because he knows criminals. He's seen them before. He's very familiar with them. And speaking of, resourceful criminal. And then he is going to be moving further into using his beautiful bow, the birdsong bow. He is watching that river gorge with his dead eye, and he is going to be doing some ghost stuff. So that's untethered existence. So
That's 7.
7.
Okay, I'm not gonna subtract anything here because you're basically rolling against each other to see who will
Cool.
act
16.
first. We got okay, so I got a 16. Let's go over to Seir.
Okay, I am invoking Yinghe as Seir looks over to Yinghe who's in danger. We're going to do how to hunt. We're going to do bulwark because Nova is in danger. We're going to pick seeing omens because the omens are coming true. Weave omens, hungry form, powerful against gods, monstrous countenance, and devourer's edge.
That's a 9. So roll 2d6 plus 9 for me.
I did. That is a 19 total.
Oh
'cause I
my
rolled a
god!
10.
Oh my god! Okay, Lumièra, what tags are you invoking?
Okay, so I will be invoking Diagnoses, Stabilizer, Forbidden Knowledge, Control of Time, Flashes of History, Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time. That's 7.
That's 7. Okay, roll for it.
That will be, hold on, math ain't my strong point. Give me a second. That'll be a 13 for Lumièra.
Oh, nice. Okay, so first the act will actually be Seir. You are caught in this kind of stalemate against Xiaolong. How do you leap into action?
Nova! Yiga! And he realizes he's far, far away from the people and folks that he needs to protect. And he does not have time for Xiaolong right now. What I would like to do is... and you tell me which one I should rather roll. I want to push off of Xiaolong. If I knock them over, fine, but I'm prioritizing heading over back to where Nova is.
Okay, so you're trying to regroup with your party here,
Yeah.
basically? Okay, yeah. You're able to, like, disentangle yourself from Xiaolong and leap back. Make me just a quick tempt fate roll to see if Xiaolong gets you on the way out.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I will invoke Yinghe. I will invoke
Okay.
How to Hunt, Bulwark, Weave Omens, and Powerful Against Gods.
Okay, I'm gonna invoke Weak to Gods and Bleeding 3. So that's a +1.
Jeez. What's +1?
You're wounded, yeah.
8.
8. Okay, so you're able to get back to your party in this turn, but you do feel like a sharp, like, slashing sensation across your back as you, like, turn and, like, whip your way across the tail as the other end of the crescent blade comes down and slashes you.
As Seir, like, leaps over, and I think he doesn't gracefully clamber onto the other side of the rooftops. He is, like, dangling, half of his body is dangling while he's grasping with his claws onto the tiles, and he's trying to lift himself up. I don't think he's crested across quite yet.
Are you trying to get onto the building where Lumièra and Xiaocheng are, or the building where Yinghe and Naim and Xainan are?
Yinghe and Xainan are, because he wants to see what's going on first. Before
Absolutely.
He leaps forward.
Yeah, you land onto the tiles and you start to crawl your way up, right? Like pieces of ceramic crumbling past your claws as you surface up onto the roof once more, bleeding in so many different kinds of gouges all the way down your back, staining your skin red. We pan across this battlefield to now find Xainan, who's right there.
Yeah, right there. Actually, Sarah, as you crest the edge of the building, you see Xainan. He looks different. I'm sure that you are not entirely able to see all the things that are different, but his nimble fingers reach down into his quiver and he draws an arrow. But as he draws it, the cracks in his arm begin to swell as ghostly energy is going to wrap his arm as he raises this arrow. And Connie, I would like to try and use my bow to shoot ghosts at the demon holding the gourd.
At Bai Guizing? Yes. As you notch this arrow and start to draw it, and you draw a bead on Bai Guizing, the cracks in your arm light up, and you also feel a presence with you. Ija. This is Ija with you, guiding your hand. But this is also you. In this moment, you are united with the ghosts that haunt you. You can feel their whispers, feel their presence, the grief and the love digging into your soul in equal measure. And I just want to give you a situational +1 forward to this roll. So, why don't you unleash violence for me here?
Okay. Sentinel against the ending. Resourceful criminal. The bird song bow. Deadeye. untethered existence, messages from the beyond, and with Ija's help, farm boy.
That's a 7?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just gonna invoke Broken 5, so that's a +2.
Great. And then the one forward, potentially. Yes? Yes, the one forward.
Yes, if you didn't already use it, then yeah, we can add
Yeah.
it here, so that's a +3. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, +3. Oh, my dice are saying yes today. Isn't that nice?
Let's go!
It's a 9 total, but still,
Okay,
that's great.
okay, not bad. On a 7 to 9, you exchange blows. So I think you shoot the ghosts at Baigudzing. What does it look like?
The arrow clatters against the side of the bow, and Xainan's thumb pulls it across his body, and as he does, just wisps like mist, but they're not mist. They are just a gentle hand that you see appear as his hand draws back, and Ija, not as tall as Xainan, stands in him, next to him, with him, as their hand also draws the bowstring back, and as his arm extends, their arm extends, and 2 people wearing flat-brimmed caps draw the arrow back, and Xainan smiles. He can feel his emo with him. Is him. And he takes a deep, steadied breath and releases the arrow, and with it goes this wisp of white, ghostly hair, a black flat-brimmed hat, and it travels with the arrow.
Where does it hit Baigudzing?
On their arm.
Yep. The arm that's holding the sword that currently is unwrapping itself from the gourd. And as they hold that arm forward and try to catch the gourd, that's when the arrow comes in. So these demons, interestingly, are still gods. They're not as powerful as Triziang, certainly not. But it will be impossible for all of you, and you've already known this as cultivators, as mortals, to kill these demons, kill these gods. You can perhaps subdue them, you can stagger them, yes, but you can never truly depose of them. And this is the closest you come, I think, to completely knocking a demon in her blind side. The arrow seems to travel through her arm in a ghostly whistle, and as it does, her arm shakes and she lets go of her sword, she drops it. And as the sword comes down, so does the gourd, it falls, and it hits the courtyard, like 12 boo underneath all of you, and it bounces, and it rolls, and it comes to a stop underneath the same peach tree that Yinghe had been knocked against what feels like lifetimes ago. And that causes every demon, Shijiang included, to whistle their eyes over to the gourd and fixate their attention right there. As Bai Guqing lets out a you in your direction, Xainan.
Nova! And Xainan's eyes slide away from the demon towards the gourd underneath the tree.
Excellent. And now, speaking of which, we pan over to Lumièra.
Lumièra's eyes watch the gourd skitter. And I'm still located up on a roof, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump.
Okay.
Jump down and run towards the gourd and
grab it.
It's going to be like it's gonna be like Endgame when everyone was fighting with the gauntlet on the battlefield and was trying to keep it from Thanos. That's what's happening right now. Lumièra will jump off the roof and run over toward the gourd to grab it and run.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to tempt fate here, my love. So what tags would you like to invoke?
Now I'm gonna invoke our crew tag, if that's okay, everyone. I'm gonna invoke Fuck the Plan.
Fuck the plan!
Fuck the plan.
I don't know how that happened.
I'm also I'm going to invoke Forbidden Knowledge.
Okay.
Control of Time.
Okay.
Threading the Journey. Shielded by Time. I will invoke Fatigued and doesn't understand its power, so +3.
For net 3? Okay, I'm going to invoke the Battered tag because you're just physically hopping off of a building. So that's a net +1.
1.
Let's go. Oh no.
Oh no, why are you laughing? I don't like that. I don't like that you're laughing at.
What'd you get, Sam?
It was a +1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a 6.
Oh my god, okay, we haven't had a 6 on Tempt Fate yet. I need to read this out. On a 6-, Fate laughs in your face. The GM will describe how your plan spectacularly implodes. Lumièra.
You did say fuck the plan.
I did say fuck the plan.
Roll me a d8.
Six.
Okay, so as you hop off of the roof, as soon as you land on the ground, it's going pretty good. You're kind of tumbling forward to keep the momentum going. You see the gourd, it's right there. You're reaching your hands out, and then you hear a noise like someone beating the skin of the assembly drum, but it's a lot more metallic. As we see up on the roof you just leapt down from, Shriziang slams the hammer into the air, and even though there's nothing there, it seems to make contact with something. And there is a bright vibration of noise and sound and sensation and heat, as though she were slamming that hammer down onto a blade in the midst of being forged on her anvil. And then lacing into existence, for the hammer of creation has just made it in this moment, is a gleaming bronze meteor hammer, which is basically 2 pummeling objects connected by a thread of iron. It boomerangs forward and it wraps itself around your feet, tying you up, and you smash onto the ground inches away from the floor.
Fuck!
And you swear you hear something or someone laughing very far and also very close from here, but perhaps that was just a hallucination of delusion here as you smash onto the ground.
I think once she hits the ground, it knocks the wind out of her, but just with the last inch of breath, Seir, as she hits the ground.
And now it's time for our allies and enemies to act. Up on the roof, Yinghe's entire focus is on keeping Tang Tang trapped in this shadow mire, basically, these ribbons of pure shade. As Tang Tang thrashes, we see them transform between forms. We see them oscillate up into the size of a massive panda, and then back down into like a small pit viper trying to escape, and then up to like a golden snub-nosed monkey trying to use its dexterity to clamber out, and then a rhinoceros. We're seeing like them oscillate between all these different animal images of themselves, but none are strong enough to escape this mire, this shadow. And then, Seir, as you surface up onto the roof, right after Shriziang had smashed her hammer to create the meteor hammer, she looks up, she cocks her axe back, and she throws it in Yinghe's direction. And we see the axe, like a woodcutter's axe, whirl through the air, and without Yinghe even realizing it, violence flies up, wraps her fingers around its hilt, comes up, and blocks the axe. It does, however, throw Yinghe off the roof, though her life has been saved, and the shadows immediately vanish, and Tang Tang ends up in the form of a swooping crane that flaps its wings up and dives toward Naeem, as Yinghe tumbles off the roof and lands onto their body in the courtyard, not too far away from Lumièra. Seir, you have a moment to react here if you would like.
Oh, fuck yeah. Seir can hear Lumièra's call, even if she whispered it. And he snaps his head, and at the same time, in bullet time, watches Yinghe falling onto the courtyard, and Seir just leaps onto the ground. And if I can, Connie, I would like to land close to Lumièra and Yinghe and maybe try to I don't mind if my tail gets hurt from this, but like soften the blow for Yinghe as I like land on all fours right next to the both of them.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of these rolls. Tempt Fate for me.
Fuck.
I think it's very thematic. That boss fight part 2, we're tempting fate.
Go, Seir. Go, my boy.
Fuck. All right, I am invoking Yinghe. I'm invoking How to Hunt, Bulwark, Seeing the Omens, Weave Omens. I won't invoke the others because they're not relevant.
Sounds
That's
good.
5.
I'm gonna invoke bleeding. So that's a plus
Yeah.
2.
+2. Okay, that's an 8 total. Seeing the
Okay,
4
mixed
and the 2
success.
on the die
Yeah.
was. Seeing the 4 and the 2 was really scary. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
6. Wait,
We
no,
have a
+2.
Yeah, +2, yay! You
yeah.
catch Yinghe right before they hit the ground, and you take the blow for them, basically, as you crash into the earth. So I'm gonna need you to take battered 2. You're currently at battered 2, so that would go up to 4. You can burn tags to decrease it if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll burn Yinghe because I'm already here.
Okay, so
and
just
I will
one.
burn.
Oh,
Yeah, and I will burn. Oh, just can I burn another one?
you can. You absolutely can. Yeah. Go for it.
I'll burn hungry form.
Okay, so you take a net 0 of tears, but you do kind of have to burn those tags, and you kind of crack onto the ground. There's a plume of dust that comes up, obscuring both of your forms. And then you kind of feel like Yinghe underneath you kind of like thrashing a little bit. And Seir, there's something wrong. And you hear Yinghe's voice seconds before violence sinks into your side. Go, what? No, I don't want to. And violence comes forward like a viper striking and right into your torso. And you feel something wrong about the blade as it bites into you. It's vibrating, emanating a kind of corruption. And we all see as the dust clears that the blade is smoking. No, it's radiating mist. And as the axe destruction flies back into Xiaocheng's hand, we see the gleaming side of it also emanating mist. And Xiaocheng kind of cocks her head to the side with a wry and invigorated smile. All of you can try to play the part of loyal knight, play the part of shield, of bulwark, but this is what you all are deep inside. This is what I am. This is what the demons are. This is what the gods are. This is what cultivators are. Anyone who wields a blade, anyone who has the potential to wield a blade, we are all just cruel and violent creatures at the end of the day. And all of you, yet despite her words, see that current of rage, of desperation underneath her face. Something about seeing how all of you are working together seamlessly to protect Xiaocheng, to go after the river gourd, is just pissing her off. Because it contradicts what she's saying about how people at their core truly are. So if I can't make you see it through words, I will teach the lesson through a carving of blood. And violence vibrates again in Yinghe's hand and comes back. Do you try to defend yourself against this blow again?
I can't hurt Yinghe
Oh.
because that's what
Okay.
it would take. I can't do that.
Then it cuts into you once more as Yinghe kind of disentangles themselves from you. Similar to Xiaocheng, they're being kind of controlled, puppeted by the sentient crescent blade. I need you to advance bleeding by 2 tiers. 1 for each strike.
I'll take it. Take it.
Okay, now you're up to bleeding 5, I think. Is that so?
Oh, so is it bleeding or battered? My God.
Bleeding,
took
not
the wrong
battered.
thing.
Bleeding.
Okay, bleeding 5.
Bleeding 5, that's not good. You are covered in your own blood from your back, from gashes, and now from your own crescent blade. And you feel patience still in your hand, despite you climbing with it, despite you using your monstrous form. Vibrate as Yinghe's violence comes up to come down for a 3rd time, perhaps at a semi-fatal time. And then your hand flies up, imbued by patience, and the 2 twins clash in midair. As your side of the crescent blade protects you in this moment. They hook onto each other like talons. Seir, please, help, fight back. And you see in the gleaming of your interconnected blades a flash of light, and then that black furred visage once more. Boy, you need my help. You need my help.
And he looks up at Yinghe as he mutters helplessly, the voice returning back to Seir, the monstrousness pattering out. If I strike, I'll hurt you. I can't I can't control it. I can't control this.
You
And he
might
looks.
hurt them if you lash out, but your friends will die if you don't use me. And the truth of that resonates. It's as true as an omen, and every omen has always come true.
Who are you? As Seir relents, his shoulders drop. The monstrosity subsides for a moment as a helpless boy looks at the form within the blade.
And the form looks at you, and you look at the form, and perhaps for the first time truly in your life, you look at it straight in the eyes. You see your own eyes. Eyes that are yours, eyes that are this creature's, eyes that are somewhere in between, bright, piercing blue. And this creature, this entity says, "You are my son. We are doom." And poof! Seir, you feel a surge of power. Unlike any you have felt before, what Aurignus had imbued you with is but a flickering candle burst of flame compared to the conflagration that now consumes you. And we see the bestial side of you intensify. The tusks grow larger, you increase another size. Tell me what other part of you monstrifies.
His entire being, Seir turns into a shrine guardian, a tiger of black and white fur. All the fur bursts out of his skin, the billowing tail cut down, damaged from before, billows into existence, fuller and more powerful than before. The fangs protrude out of him, and as his face transforms, it's no longer the face of Seir, it's the face of a tiger. Its snarling snout growling at the revelation that's just become, and his antlers grow. They arc upward like a crown that he has now accepted. And he is now on all fours, paws and his hind legs billow out as he steps forward. Monstrous, but beautiful. But controlled, tempered.
Exactly. Controlled. Though you appear more monstrous than you ever have, you are in the driver's seat. You're in complete control in this moment as you embrace the name, as you acknowledge the visage in that crescent blade, and you rise to the occasion. In the exact moment that Shijiang wants you to succumb, you rise. And now, my friends, we're gonna go back up to the top of the turn order. We are going to leap into action once more. Seir, did you have something you wanted to do?
No, I'm just acting. Don't worry about it.
Oh! You were so,
I saw you.
so in it.
I saw you, Val.
Excellent. So, let's start with Xainan. Tell me what tags you're invoking.
Sentinel against the ending, survivalist, resourceful criminal, Deadeye, and untethered existence.
Okay, that's how many? That's like five? Okay. What about Seir? How many tags are you invoking?
Well, Connie, with that, well, actually, no, I'll do that afterwards. For now, I will invoke Powerful Against Gods, Monstrous Countenance, a Devourer's Edge, and a Bulwark.
Okay, roll for it. And Lumièra, we are diving right back into the action at the top of the round. What tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to invoke Control of Time, Threading the Journey, Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time, and I also have 2 new special tags that I would love to invoke. Fast travel as well as deceleration.
Oh, cool. So how many tags is that?
That is
6, right?
6, yeah.
Okay, so why don't you all make your rolls? Let's start with Xainan. What did you get?
12 total.
Oh, nice, a 12. What about you, Seir?
I have a +4 total right now, so I'll roll now. That is... Ooh, that's a 10. Love that.
A 10. Okay, what about Lumièra?
12.
Okay, so Lumièra and Xainan are tied. I'll let you two decide who goes first.
Go first, Zai.
Please get up. Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna tell you, please get up.
Please get up.
Get up.
We can go to Zai first.
That's what I'm begging to y'all. Stand up.
Stand on your feet, soldiers. On your feet. Xainan, before you go, upon seeing Seir's transformation, Shuijiang lets out a and holds up a hammer as Xiaocheng rushes forward with a Zifeng and intercepts the blow, but isn't looking at the courtier, is looking at Nova, specifically Seir, Lumièra, and then up at you again, Xainan.
I was trying to do you a favor, cultivator, by taking your life, severing you from this world of suffering created by the violence and cruelty innate to all of us. So much easier if you just give in to the mist. Can't you see? I'm doing this to free all of you.
You think you're so righteous. These weapons aren't here to hurt others. They're here to protect. To stop you. That's why I'm up. You can keep hitting me all you want. That's what shields are for.
Shields. No, you're nothing but a blade. Righteous, don't make me laugh. I'm right. Not righteous, I'm just correct. I have seen all the depravity on the mortal realm reflected in the political machinations of the gods up here and the conniving, scheming demons of the underworld. We are cruel. You're all cruel. Deep down, you don't want to admit it, but you're all like me.
I think maybe one too many people have been cruel to you. But the only answer isn't to strike. You can't hit those problems with a weapon.
Don't you dare look at me with pity. Don't you dare!
And she lifts both weapons up into the sky and slams it down onto the roof tiles. And explosions of light ribbon across the courtyard toward you, Xainan. Right before it hits you, what would you like to do?
Xainan is really feeling himself. And I think, though he is concussed and there's like an odd heat beginning to emanate from the side of his head that he's not placed yet. He thought it was just blood, but it's more than that. There's something going on there that he's going to figure out later. But he knows he's right. I know that the Forge Master thinks that she's right, but Xainan in his heart and soul knows you cannot shoot your problems. He learned that from Azima. And so instead of fighting her, this wave of light comes at Xainan, and he is just going to do the same thing he did not an hour ago and trust in her will and be who he is that this place has shown him. And I am just going to use Untethered Existence, Grease Long Shadow, and Messages from the Beyond to pass through the attack entirely.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be channel your power.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just give it to you. Roll with a
That was
+3.
so much fucking cooler than the idea I had in my head. Go with that.
Now I wanna know your idea, Sam.
My idea was going to be decelerating the tiles.
Oh, right,
that
the
were,
mirror coming out. Yeah. Oh, but that's so cool. I want to see what
that's-
Xainan gets. Yeah.
Xainan's is so much cooler.
Both are really cool.
At an 8, I think he intends to literally like ghost drift towards Ta to prove his point.
At an 8, would you like the effect to be limited or volatile?
Come on, Connie. Let's
Well,
go.
why did I even give? Why did I even write this choice in?
Why do you
know
ask?
us.
Sometimes limited makes
You
sense.
know
One
us.
every time.
Sometimes limited makes sense. Okay. Yes.
But we love
So
drama.
the two pillars of light pummel into you, boosh, and in that moment you turn ghostly. It's not that you pass through them so much as they pass through you, equivalent on either end. You are a ghost, and the ghost is you. The divine blast phases through your body, and you start to walk forward across the roof tiles toward Shrijiang on the opposite side of the courtyard. And in this moment, I'm gonna give it to you. You can walk across air if you would like.
I think as Xainan steps forward, he has never done this. This is a level of trust that he, I think, maybe can only experience beginning with being concussed. But he steps forward, and as he does, he's walking down the long road to the Lodestar Steading, that soft dirt road that maybe occasionally has too many rocks in it, but he's still walking, and there's grass in the mist as he steps forward. And just as walking through the valley, he's home.
I love that. If I may add on to that, Xainan.
Please.
Take one step and you're back in Haruna Valley. You see that dirt path, you see the grasses, you see the crickets hopping from blade to blade, and you see the fireflies flittering next to you. And then you step forward again and you see pink platforms blooming open like cherry petals underneath your feet. And you step forward again and you see Artemis's office unfolding, those dark wood slats. And then you step forward and you're on the opposite side facing Shrijiang, who is panting a little in exertion and raises both weapons, looking down at you with such cracked open fury, like she is a geode that has sprang open to release all of the vulnerability, the glimmering gemstones, the hatred, the intimacy, and the softness, the weakness inside as well.
You stop looking at me like that!
The same eyes that looked at King Maswu look at her. Luhua deserves better.
And something in Shrijiang's face snaps when you say that. Here's the volatile. I'm gonna have it hit you like this. She lifts the axe this time and slams it into you wordlessly, and it half passes through you, and then your form glitches while it's still halfway inside you, right before it cuts out. So you're back into being a man, a mortal. You stutter back into reality as you feel like a deep, sharp nick in the side of your torso and your kidney, right underneath your lungs. So I'm gonna need you to take... Oh, God. Oh,
do it, Connie.
Well.
Do it, Connie.
I was gonna say broken 3. You're at broken 5.
I will burn tags.
Okay.
You're good.
Which tags
You're good.
would you like to burn?
I mean, given what he's doing, I think it's got to be Messages from the Beyond again.
Uh-huh.
Grief's Long Shadow and Farm Boy.
Okay, so you stay at broken 5. Good, because you can't go to broken 6 because you're dead, or you might as well be.
Correct.
Right, but there's like a kind of moment, and I think some blood spurts from between your lips and dribbles down your chin and starts to stain the top of your shirt.
Mm-hmm.
But Shrijiang is completely incensed, completely infuriated, looking down at you. And you've hit on that weakness. You've hit on, that's right, Xainan, that denial that Shrijiang is hiding from. She says everyone else is in denial, but she herself is the one who is the most in denial. She can't let go of her philosophy because she can't be wrong. Because that would mean admitting that she's done bad things, terrible things, with no true excuse or justification for them whatsoever. So for her, she is, in a lot of ways, fighting for her life. That's why it's so hard for her to let go of her cruelty and her hatred. And then there's a thump as Xiaocheng jumps down from the roof and lands in the courtyard, as Tang swoops toward Naeem still on the roof, engaged in that combat, and Xiaocheng says, "Take your eyes off me one more time, Forge Master, and you will suffer for it!" And they surge forward again to engage Shrijiang. So we pan back down to the courtyard now to find Lumièra, as Xiaocheng lands with a thud and starts to reach for the gourd.
Lumièra will do everything within her power to scramble towards the gourd. I think in her midst of trying to scramble as fast as she can, even though her feet are kind of tied together. I think she's like scrambling towards the gourd while trying to also shake the hammers that's
The
wrapped
hammer
around
that's
her
wrapped
feet.
around you. Yeah.
Off at the same time. But at the same time, she throws up a middle finger towards the demon and is decelerating him at the same time to slow him down so she can actually grab it and then fast travel her ass out of there. So she's
channel your power, my sweet one. Do it. Invoke your tags. I love that. Middle fingers up.
Middle fingers up. Fuck you. So forbidden knowledge, control of time, threading the journey, creating liminals, shielded by time, fast travel, deceleration. I will invoke fatigued. I will invoke doesn't understand this power. And I will also invoke bloodied one.
Okay, yeah, so that's a +4. I'm also going to invoke Marked for Death 2, so that's a +2.
Gotcha. Boxcars, biatch!
Lumièra!
The she-herd's coming in!
Let's go!
Yes! It works. The effect is exactly as intended. You throw that middle finger up, and right before Xiaolong's huge hand makes contact with the gourd, he freezes. Just like Xiaocheng, suspended in a liminal, we see clockwork gears flashing in soapy translucence in front of his face. And tell me how you grab that gourd.
Lumièra flips up the middle finger as she decelerates him, and as they stop, Lumièra just like, licks her middle finger and grabs the gourd. And I think it's just as quickly as a clock-geared liminal appears around her, it disappears, and she's on the opposite side of the battlefield, gourd in hand.
Yeah, you're just like moving as quickly as humanly possible, ensconced in your own time magic, running across the courtyard. And you hear Xiaocheng embroiled in a duel with Shijiang say, "The gourd! Lumièra! Over here!" And is like holding out a hand to try to re-grab it.
I pass it to them.
Okay, so you throw the gourd up into the air. So we're kind of gonna go in bullet time for a second here. You chuck the gourd up into the air, and we see Bai Guting, who, after recovering from being shot in the arm from Xainan, lets out a "I don't think so, tricky little cultivator," and shoots out not her sword because she dropped it, but her fan. She flings it in a wind-stirring motion, and out comes ghostly, pale white grasping claws that surge forward and try to grab the gourd in midair. But Xiaocheng's eyes flash, and with a little flick of Zifeng, there's like a explosion of magic from that blade, and it throws the ghostly hands off course a little bit, but they still do make contact with the gourd and kind of knock it off course. Like inches away from Xiaocheng's outstretched hand, the gourd is knocked just a little astray. So now we're gonna pan over to Seir.
Connie,
Yes.
as Shuijiang is saying all of this, Seir's stock still, violence still digging into his rib, and he feels the blood subsiding a little bit. Son of Doom. Son of Doom. And he looks up at Shuijiang and says, "Shut up. I don't care for your lectures. I already have a teacher. And she has killed gods far more terrifying than you. So why should I fear you?" I would like to stop holding back.
Okay, you jump scared me with that. That's a move we've not used yet. When you channel your powers in a new, never-before-seen way, describe what you hope to achieve, and the GM will tell you the cost. Let's start there.
So I will have to roll 2d6 plus logos.
Yeah, the number of
the
logos tags you have. Not tags, sorry.
The logos tags.
Themes you have.
Themes, so that's plus 2. All right,
Yes.
let's see what happens.
before we resolve that, what are you trying to achieve in this moment?
Seir wants to tap into Doom fully, wholeheartedly. His bleeding heart now open to the influence of the antlered one, and reveling in that truth. And I think within that, he's going to look over to Ying, like turn around with violence still in Yinghe's hand, hold onto Yinghe and start purring. And like leaning against their forehead and basically take control of violence now that he's controlling Doom. That violence doesn't scare him, and whatever viciousness it can do, he can wield now properly.
Okay. And you're trying to wield this specifically against Shijiang, I assume. Like jump up there and help Xiaocheng and fight Shijiang.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you the cost.
But I need the blade first from
Yeah, you
Yinghe.
do. Yes, of course. The cost will be, depending on the role, violence is still corrupted by the mist. You're trying to bring violence back from the brink, essentially, but the cost is going to be that it's going to sink itself into you over and over and over again as you try to embrace it with your purr and your arms. Okay?
So I rolled a 6, but I have an advancement I took weeks ago called Contain the Surge. Any -6 I take to stop holding back is now a 7 to 9.
Oh my god! That's really good because a 6 result, not great. You would
Sucks.
lose control.
Terrible.
Yeah, so it would suck and completely undermine what you're trying to do in this moment. Okay, 7 to 9. On a 7 to 9, you must also replace one theme with its inverse. So for example, a mythos theme becomes a logos or vice versa.
Seir's logos of defining event. The chosen one shadow. I do not know who I am without Sing. Will now be replaced with its inverse, which is a mythos theme book. Bastion. I am the chosen one's brother. And I protect chosen ones.
I'm screaming! Oh my god, I love this! Okay, yes! You do pay the cost, but you also metamorphosize in more ways than one in this moment. You come into your own. You feel violence cutting into you over and over and over again, but it's somewhere beyond you, even as your mortal blood pours from your furred chest, even as you gently take this corrupted blade into your hand and hold it, control it, school it, comfort it for just a moment there, still it from the raging corrupted mist roiling within its blade, and you fold Yinghe into your chest, and their face presses against your blood, gushing against their cheek, and they blink against the rivers of crimson dribbling down their mouth, and they whisper your name against your fur. And Seir, how do you arch upward toward the gourd, Shijiang and Xiaocheng?
I will no longer put you in danger, he whispers to Yinghe, and as he leans back away from the hold, looks up at Shuijiang, violence and patience in hand. I will do the thing that Seir loves to do, and I will jump up a tree and hook myself onto the roof and swing upwards.
Yes, it happens. You jump up, you hook. Is it patience or violence that you hook?
Patience, so that violence is out for it within the form that he's taking.
I love it. You jump up, you hook patience into the branch, you swing, and violence comes down. Where are you trying to point violence?
How close to the Forge Master can I be?
You can get very close because you have stopped holding back. You can basically get completely within melee.
I'm going to hook onto their foot then.
Okay. The crescent blade's gonna come down to their foot?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna pin them there.
Okay, sounds good. The blade wicks through the air, cuts down, and slashes into the Forge Master's foot. The blade doesn't break. Her foot doesn't break either, but you slip it in, I think, to her very soul itself, and you kind of form a curved trap, basically preventing her ankle from getting out of it unless she turns to fully pivot in your direction. She lets out a gah as she stops there. The gourd surges through the air, and we leave bullet time in this moment. And thanks to all of your combined efforts, Xiaocheng holds out their hand, and the gourd falls into it. And we see Shuixiang's eyes travel to the gourd. We see all of the demon's eyes travel to the gourd. And in that moment, Xiaocheng looks at Shuixiang and realizes what she wants to do with it. No, you can't have this. You can't have the mist. You can't have Misty. You were going to eat it, weren't you? That's what you were planning, wasn't it?
I was to become one with it.
And she strains against your blade, Seir, but it's planted there. She swipes out and misses the gourd by inches.
I was to make my will the will of the Sister Realms. My philosophy would become the truth. My magic would become the magic. It's not too late for me to make this world into my image.
Another strain, another slash, another miss. As Xiaocheng looks at Shuixiang, looks at you, Seir, looks at you, Lumièra, looks at you, Xainan, and knows what they must do. I can't let you corrupt Misty. I can't let anyone have the power to corrupt Misty. This gourd lets us talk to her, talk to the mist, commune with it, be close to it, but it also lets us trap it. And realization colors across Xiaocheng's face. They lift the gourd up into the sky. Shuixiang says, No, where are you? And Xiaocheng slams the gourd onto the ground and holds out Zifeng at the last moment to cause the gourd to slip across the edge of the blade and shatter. And we're gonna end the session there.
Fuck.
No, what? No. Chat, get into it right now. We are calling a sanction. This is not how Connie gets to end this right now.
Vetoed.
I know y'all are with me.
Vetoed.
Oh my god.
Claim denied. Vetoed.
Connie is always
Fee
denying
raised.
our claims.
Premiums
You're worse than
raised.
the government.
Vetoed. I have been your game master and creative producer, Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at by Connie Chong, BYCONNIECHANG. I'm gonna pass things over to Val.
Hello everybody, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing Seir, Son of Doom, who uses he, they pronouns. And I'm gonna pass it over to Pop-Up.
Hi, I'm Kai. I play Xainan, who currently has almost 20 negative status tags against him.
Please!
You can find me everywhere as Estelle of Imladris, and you can find me back here committing more crimes as Mr. Xainan-ish. As we wrap up this arc, I'm passing it over to Sam.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam Star. I played Lumièra. You can find me across internets at Lust for Life X. So, are you sure that we can't do like a coup last minute
Against me?
Yeah, to just be like, no, that's not like.
You know, I'm afraid that I have spies everywhere. So even if you did try to foment a coup against me, my spies would tell me. I would shut it down. My spy is C. Thomas. That's right.
It's true.
God
They're
damn
in your
it,
walls.
C. The one
They're
we
eating your
trust the
copper.
most is the one we can't. All right.
Trust in
Take
their
it away,
will.
boss. Send us
It's
home.
a
There will.
The boss. So thank you all so much for tuning into Arc 2 Stream 14. This means we only have 2 more streams because it's 16 streams. That's it. That's the arc. 2 more streams until we wrap up Arc 2. So if you've been enjoying the series so far, make sure you get in the comments of the YouTube VOD, in the chat of the Twitch, in comments of whatever TikToks and YouTube shorts I put out. Make tweets, make posts about it, tell your friends. Word of mouth, especially if you can't support us on Patreon. Word of mouth is huge. Be annoying about it. Be the Transplanar ambassadors I know you all are. It truly, really helps us continue to create the kinds of stories that we love to share with you in a healthy and sustainable way, because that's what allows us to keep making this art, is you talking about it in positive ways. All that said, we are taking a quick break next week, so no Chaos stream next week, to record an extra special secret project. A wink, a wink.
You've been posting about it on TikTok. How secret is?
I'm soft launching it on TikTok, and he was like, "Connie, what the hell? Why are you?" We didn't talk about this. I was like, "I don't know. I'm soft launching it on TikTok. Maybe some God Killer in studio stuff. Who knows, right?" But we're recording that next week. But Chaos will return on May 11th. That is Saturday, May 11th. Put that in your calendars. Saturday, May 11th. What was that? I don't know. I'm not gonna try that ever again. Don't clip that. Right here. 8 p.m.
Clip
US
it.
Eastern Time. Don't do it. Twitch and YouTube at Transplanar RPG and by Connie Chung on TikTok. So to support us otherwise, you go to our Patreon. That's the best way to support us. You can even join as a free member. You'll still get some stuff as a free member, but it's as low as $3 a month. That's like $36. That's not right. It's like $36 a year, right? Okay, I'm wrapping it up. So he's giving me the wrap it up sign. So Patreon is the best way to support us, and we hope you're ready, Transplanners. So thank you so much for hanging with us tonight. Make sure you stick around for the raid. Use the raid message in chat, and Bisho.
You were right, Connie. Your math was right.
Thank you.